Hey guys, welcome to ET Land. Today I want to talk a little bit about my favorite handheld in 2023 and my 2024 resolution. So to begin with, my last video was about the Odin 2 and I want to follow it up a little bit. There are many of you getting me wrong about I was trying to attack Odin 2 because of I know, and that was totally not my intention. And I know there were something that I said wrong in the video, like I couldn't find the RGB light, and now I found it. So that was one thing I have to apologize, and I want to explain a little bit more about why I talk about user performance on that video. That's basically because many people were expecting to buy the Odin 2 for Switch emulation in particular, and I want them to set the correct expectation for that. There are many games that are going to play on YouTube that I can show you. For example, there are some Mario games that are going to be very playable and runs very well. However, there are games like JRPG which user developer are not focusing on at all. Those games are not going to run well. Well, today is not going to run well, so it's not loading up. Let's see if I can kill it and play a game. Another side note is that I've been trying to play Xbox cloud gaming and it has been doing well, but that's another issue. So maybe we can go back to YouTube right now. Okay, it's loading now. And I can show you, for example, I got the save data running well on this game here, file that, and just have no problem running, and I'm surprised because it is also a little bit difficult to run on my ROG Ally. So this is a good sign, but not every game is like that, and um there are still many hiccups. Although it is running well, you see there are some graphic issues over there. The tree is flickering and is not going to stop. Anyway, there are these kind of problems here and there. It doesn't mean that it is not playable, but I just want people to know more about what it is when it comes with Switch emulation. It is not these device fault. I have to state it once again, and I mentioned that very clearly in my previous video. I just mentioned this because there are too many videos saying that there are many Switch games playable, and people just have so many wrong expectation on that. For example, what I mean problems with the save data is that, okay, we'll say the recovery data is found and we are going to recover your data. um that is weird because I deleted the game save and it doesn't delete it. I tried to import another save data from my original island, but it doesn't work. So here's my island. You see there's a tiger like that. So yeah, I can exit it, long press it, and then delete save data. So I'm going to remove the data save data here, and then I'm going to import another island that I have. So that would be this one. Please that import successfully. And then when I get back to the island, it will recover the data, and then I'll get back to the island that I just had. So the save data doesn't work on this one, And that's why I wanted people to be careful about that, because even though the games can be playable, sometimes they are not going to register your save data. And that's just how the current user performance is. So I just wanted to mention this kind of truth that we're hidden behind, um, and no one is going to mention them. I have to emphasize that I do not hate this device, and I wanted to love it, and I'm trying to like it. I am learning how to hold it in a way that I can be comfortably playing it. For example, I mentioned in my previous video that my palms are going to go into this corner, and this is very difficult, not very comfortable for me to hold this device because, for example, I can reach this button, but I can't reach here. I don't know if you can tell. So I tried hold it a little bit higher so that I can hold this one. I can touch the triggers because this travel is too long. It is very difficult for me to register. Like if you watch Taki Udon's latest video on his first look of Retro Pocket 4, you also can see that for some games, if the travel is too long, you are not going to register anything at all if you press it at a normal travel as other handheld. This is the normal travel we would have from, let's don't say normal, but like from other handhelds because they have shorter travels. So if I press like this on my ROG Ally, it is going to register. I don't need to go like at the bottom, and even if I do, the travel is a lot lesser. But here, um, you know, and it bounced back. So I got to hold it a little bit higher in order to make sure myself that I can reach at the bottom. Or otherwise from here, if I hold it down there, I just couldn't register at all. So that's why I said it was a problem. It is not just perfect personal preferences, because for small-handed people, it is very difficult. It is very difficult to reach the bottom if you're holding at this side, especially when there is around the corner and this is very prominent. Also, this grip is going to make your hand move outward a little bit. So if you do not hold it up a little bit, you are not going to reach these two buttons with your small hands. However, when I hold it higher, it is very difficult for me to press the D-pad as well. So just like I mentioned last time, because it wiggles, it is a little bit to register for me too, because when I press it, I'm not registering. I need to press it harder, but it is difficult for me to reach. So I was not trying to be very picky about this device. I was just expressing my own difficulties, and there is no doubt that this device is the most powerful Android handheld right now in the market, and I have no doubt in that too. Since this is the most powerful Android handheld, it plays the most number of Switch emulations, and it has more availability than other handhelds since it is running on Snapdragon. But it doesn't change the fact that it is not the most comfortable handheld. So I wouldn't say this is my favorite handheld, but this is a good handheld, especially when your hands are big enough to handle the ergonomics of this handheld. You do not have any problem. I do like the fact that they are providing the option for swap file that you can add an additional 4 GB to the RAM, like a virtual RAM. I think the model that makes the most sense for you to purchase is the base model, although they don't have many color options. But if you have the virtual file, if you have the swap file feature on, then you can get additional 4 GB, and it will be able to let you play some kind of Switch games. And for the max model here, it is just an overkill. And just like I mentioned in my previous video, you are not going to play all of the games, even though some of the games seems to be easier to emulate. Um, like at Ateria Sophie 2, this should be easier to emulate in comparison to TOTK, but it is not going to run. I can show you here. It is not running, and that's just how it is for the time being. So I still do not prefer playing Switch games here. I still have some problem with the save data, and there are many games still do not run in my library. Um, like last time, people said I picked games that are not going to run, but I didn't do that on purpose. My game library focus more on JRPG, and those are the games not focused by the YouTube developers. And that's why I said there are many games that do not run, and those are not like major titles. So I was not lying about that, but it just, like I'm just reviewing it in a different view of point, and not anyone can understand. So I'm glad that many people do understand that. So that's pretty much about the follow-up of my Odin video, and then I would like to talk about what is my favorite handheld in 2023. So based on what I mentioned about this, I want to first of all talk about the ergonomics of these four handhelds that I have. These are the four handhelds that I have for this year. Um, this one is affiliated. This is the Mio Mini Plus, and I made many customizations on it. This one is a gift from INL because I was trying to help them for interpretation and language services, but that is a separate issue. But yes, this color is not available in the market. This is the INL Pocket Air. Other than the color, it is everything inside is the same. So I do have the problems with digital well-being and YouTube not being able to work. I also get those error messages. I do not have the key mapping features and stuff like that. So everything inside is going to be the same as what it is in the market. But I think it is not fair to say that this is my favorite handheld this year, because this is not even in the market. But aesthetically, I just really love this design, and I do not understand why they discontinued it. Okay, I understand because probably the sales number is not that high, but this is actually very nice color to have. So I would like to talk about my favorite handheld in terms of three different categories. First of all, ergonomics and comfortability, and second of all, whether it is powerful or not, and third of all, battery life. First of all, I just mentioned that I still do not feel comfortable to hold my Odin 2 because of its geometry, and I'm still learning, like still learning. But yeah, this is not the most comfortable handheld for small-handed people. And let's talk about the Mio Mini. It is super small, so there is definitely nothing difficult for small-handed people to handle. You can reach any button anywhere. So in terms of ergonomics, I have no problem. I think the triggers are very comfortable because it is angled this way so that you can reach the triggers very well. Um, So ergonomics wise, no problem. Comfortability, no problem. But this is not the like most comfortable handheld. Um, Not bad at all. I think this is more comfortable for me in comparison to Odin 2. Um, when we look at this one, this is the ROG Ally. So I also mentioned that in my Odin video, magically I have no problem reaching any button here. So I think Asus did a very good job in designing their handheld because it is a big handheld and it fits females' hands and male hands well. I have no problem with the ergonomics here, and it is surprisingly light, although it is like 650 grams ish. I don't remember the exact number, but something like that. But really, I have no problem reaching any button, and the buttons are tuned in a way that even though your hands are small, you will be able to articulate and register them very well. I have added this clear shell here because I'm using this skin here and I really love it. I want to keep it for a long period of time. So I'm using it to protect it. Here is the back of it. Even though I got this shell here, it gets a little bit bigger. It is still very comfortable for me to have. So ergonomics wise, I give it 90 points because of how easy to reach any buttons. Like if you look once again, this is difficult to reach because of this corner and this round side here. So this is ergonomics wise the most comfortable PC handheld that I've ever had. And in terms of AYN Pockets Air, the ergonomics is the most favorable one for me. Um, you don't have this big corner at the sides, and it just fits very well immediately, instantly. How you just know where to put your hand instantly, and the buttons register is very easy too. I have no problem reaching the buttons. If you really have to pick one thing to say, I think like ABXY buttons are still too hard. I want a softer tuning. It's not like it is difficult to register, but it is a little bit too clicky for me when I play with fun games. So in terms of comfortability and ergonomics, I would say 95 points because this is light and very comfortable to hold. I do not have to learn how to hold it because when you pick it up, you instantly know where to put it, your hands are. So I would say ergonomics wise, 90 points, 95 points, 70 points, 80 points. So ergonomics wise, I like this the most. So next I would like to talk about powerful, how powerful they are. There is no doubt that Mu Mini Plus will get the least point because it is a cheaper device and it is not going to compare with any of them in terms of price range. So the chipset inside is not going to be strong enough. So it is not a fair comparison if you compare all of them. Um, it plays up to PS1 and DS emulation for like 70% of the library, I guess. Um, I do not enjoy playing DS on this one because it is just very small. The screen is small, and if you have to show two screens here, it is kind of a disaster. So I would say the NDS emulation here is a bonus. So yeah, if you look at the DS emulation, it is working, but if you have to show two screen, the second screen is just too small to read, and I know this is a fancy feature that is available on this device, but I would say NDS is just a bonus and it only plays up to PS emulation. It is more than enough for many people if they are just into older emulation and cute stuff. But if you are really looking for a stronger handheld, this is not going to do it. And but anyway, this is not going to be fair because this is just about like 70 or $80. Depends on where you get it and depends on what kind of surface you get with it. So I wouldn't say it is a fair comparison to other handhelds because these are expensive. So in terms of power, I would say this is about 60 points. But still, once again, this is not a fair comparison, and I do love my Miu Mini. But when we are only comparing the systems available without looking at the price tags, this, of course, is the weakest device. So let's put it back. So the second weakest device is AYN Pocket Air. No doubt that Dimensity 12,000 is a powerful chipset. I have no problem uh playing 3DS games here. I can run it at 3x resolution. However, since it is Dimensity, it is not going to run many emulators well, and that is a obvious thing. So for Switch emulation, I only get a few games working on it, and it is more than enough if you are only looking at up to 3DS emulation and PS2 Wii emulation, which I do. So I think it is enough. But in terms of whether this is power enough and how many system it is available on this device, I would say Switch emulation is just a bonus, and I wouldn't consider it playable. However, just like I also mentioned in my other video, since this device supports SIM card and I can use my SIM card on this device, it is a lot easier to get streamings and Xbox cloud gaming on this device. And that's what I mainly use because I have my all my games on ROG Ally, and I do not need another device that play it all. So I just stream all the things from ROG Ally to this one, and that's how I play it. But yes, this is not the most powerful device, and we still have many problems in the software. And I saw some of my viewers having boot loop problem, and I do not have it. However, YouTube is a disaster. I have to disable it, but I'm just enabling it for my video. So let's say we updated it and open it. This is my video, and it's just instantly stop, and digital well-being is going to stop as well. So there is no way for us to use these two surfaces, and obviously they are not using a proper Google system as well. So there that is the biggest problem I'm facing right now, and I am still waiting for the key mapping features, which they haven't announced anything about it. Otherwise, it is a very powerful system. I have no problem playing 3DS games. Uh, I'm not demonstrating it because I am having my SD card on my Odin 2. And I'm planning to do a separate video of gameplay showcase, so you can take a look at that, but I'm not going to show it right now. So we have these two left. Odin 2, I I think you already know about that. This is running on Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. And I already talked about that in the beginning of this video. So basically all the games runs up to PS2, Wii, and 3DS. However, Switch emulation is still a problem, and it is not totally because of Odin 2, but because user is still under development. So I would say this is the most powerful Android handheld right now. Uh, and it is a overkill because just like I mentioned in my other video, I do not play many Switch games on this device, mostly because of the mostly because of the save data problem, and sometimes it just stop the game. Sometimes the games just crash in the middle of the game and you do not know where it crashes. So if you do not reach the save point, you lost your save. So I think that is too risky for me. I don't want to waste like 30 minutes and realize that I'm not saving the game and I have to redo it. So I still do not enjoy playing Switch emulation here, and that makes it having no difference with, because if I'm going to play PS2 and 3DS or Wii games only, these two are going to perform very similarly. So the biggest difference is how it performs in Switch emulation, which unfortunately is still not being very stable. And when we look at ROG Ally, it is very powerful because of its chipset, and I have no problem running like 90% of the Switch game I throwed on it. I'm not saying that it is perfect because sometimes there are games that are not going to run at all um, on YouTube, but some of them are going to run well. And because it is a PC, it can run Wii U games and it also runs PS3 games. And of course, it has no problem running PS2 games. So I have set up EmuDeck here and I can emulate this easily. Let me just show you my island here that I was trying to put on my Odin, but it didn't work. So yeah, with EmuDeck setup, you can easily use the hotkeys when you stream it, and it is a big benefit because when I stream my games from my ROG Ally to Odin 2 or my INL Pocket Air, they are just going to load all the hotkeys and I have no problems exiting emulators. If you have ever tried streaming emulators from your PC to other devices, you'll know that there is no way to exit them sometimes. Using EmuDeck will clear this problem because you can use the hotkey from Steam to exit the games, and it is a lot easier and it makes sense. So here is my island I really love and I've been developing for a few years. I wanted to use this island on my Odin 2. I have no problem switching the save data between my Switch and my ROG Ally, but it just doesn't work on my Odin 2. So this is how I use my ROG Ally, and this is the most powerful handheld that I've ever had. Um, So yes, in terms of how powerful it is, I will say our OG Ally is the most powerful one, and then Odin 2 is the second powerful one. Then after that we have INL Pocket Air, and last but not least we have Miu Mini Plus. So our last topic to compare is the battery life. I would say Odin 2 has the biggest battery amongst them and it has the best battery life. I do saw someone mentioning that it doesn't charge and they have problems with their battery, but it didn't happen on me, and I can use these things for 8 hours, and if I'm just playing streamings, I can play at least 5 hours, and I get similar performance for INL Pockets Air. it is a little bit smaller in terms of battery life, in terms of the battery size. So I get like half an hour less than that of Odin 2. For ROG Ally, it will last about 1 to 2 hours, depends on the games I play. But definitely the battery life is not good on this one. And for Miu Mini, it actually the battery life is bad here because first of all the battery is very small. So in if you're only comparing the battery size, it is not a fair comparison. And the second thing is that if I put it on sleep mode right now, just like this, so I put it on sleep mode, the battery is not going to keep up. Every time I try to pick up it again, I realize that the battery has been drowned. And if I do not turn off the device and I just put it to sleep, the battery is going to drain in a few hours. So, uh, for many times when I want to pick up my Miu Mini Plus and play it, it just has no battery inside. So that was one of the major problem I have with my Miu Mini. And because of that, I will move on to another devices, either Odin 2 or my Pocket Air. So I would say in terms of battery life, Odin 2 is the best. Then we have I know Pocket Air. Then the next one would be my ROG Ally, and the worst one is Miu Mini Plus. So, what is my favorite handheld in 2023? That is obviously ROG Ally. This is the one I've been wanting because it is an all in one handheld that I can play everything. However, because of its size and pocketability, I do not bring it outside that often unless I'm going on some car camping that I have a bigger space and I do not have to put it in my bag all the time. So I came up with a method streaming all the games from my ROG Ally, connecting it to a deck that I do not have to show my screen, so I can keep the screen protected and I can keep the power on as well. So I stream all the games from my ROG Ally to my Pocket Air. So this is just that easy. I can do it over the internet, and I can also do that with Wi-Fi or data because it has SIM card. So that is my preferable way to play all the games. And because of that, it doesn't really matter if this device can play Switch games or not. And I have all my Switch game data on my ROG Ally, so I do not have to worry if I have to play the game all over again or not. And again, that makes Odin 2 Max being overkilled and the power is not going to be fully utilized. So yeah, although this is the most powerful Android handheld, there are many features that are overkilled and I do not need it. So I would say, still my favorite handheld is ROG Ally, and I still think, for me it doesn't make sense for me to get an Odin 2 Max because I'm just going to stream everything. Uh, if the ergonomics of this device is more suitable for girls, then I'll probably love it a lot because like you still get this YouTube keep stopping kind of error message here, which is quite annoying, and we still do not have key mapping feature on the INL. Um, I saw people saying ISpace is annoying and the launcher is not good. I do not use them. So for both devices, I use Digiso and it just clear all the problems for me for both launchers. So I don't care about the launchers, but yes, There are still many problems with the software on this one, and so does the Google Surface on this one. So if you know how to set up a PC handheld in different aspects like emulators and front end and stuff like that, I would say a PC handheld has a lot more possibility in comparison to the Android handhelds or Linux handhelds. However, in terms of user friendliness, Miu Mini is going to be the best because it has a very simple interface and you do not have to set up or trigger anything. Android handhelds has its difficulties, which some emulators work on one device but do not work on another device and vice versa. Still, PC handheld is going to be my favorite and ROG Ally is going to be my favorite because it's just play every game I threw on it. But because of its battery life, it is still not perfect. I think the most perfect way for me, for my own self, to play is to stream everything to my other handhelds. And that makes it a little bit doesn't make sense because like it is a handheld, but I'm not going to use it as a handheld for most of the time unless I'm at home. So yeah, that's pretty much about my favorite handheld in 2023. I would say there is still not a perfect handheld in the market, and I don't think there will be any perfect handheld in the future because there are some problems in every product, and that's just how it is, and tech is going to be evolving. However, games are going to be more difficult to play. There will be new platforms like I don't know if maybe Switch 2 is going to come out soon and Yuzu or Ryujins are not going to be compatible with them. I don't know, but that is also possible. So we'll have to see how far our OG Ally can go, but for the time being, it plays everything I want and it's comfortable. So this is my favorite handheld. And I do want to uh, solve the battery life problem, but this is not something that I can do for the time being. Okay, so that's pretty much about my favorite handheld in 2023. And last but not least, I want to talk about my 2024 resolution. As an interpreter in real life, I worked very hard to build my career last year and I achieved certain targets that I've set. Um, so I really want to connect interpretation to gaming industry. I know there are many companies that are still struggling in translation and interpretation because like they still have some press conference and they have to discuss with different kind of companies outside of their countries. So it would be great if I can have more jobs from gaming industries as well. And since now my career as an interpreter is more stable, I want to put more focus on YouTube. There are many things that I'm still learning as a YouTuber. I know there are many people hating me for being very biased or subjective in their opinion, but I just want to voice out from another perspective because I can see the whole YouTube and the gaming market is very dominated by males. And I think we also need different kind of voices and bring more diversity to this market. If you have been following me for a long time, you know that I've been making a lot of tutorials to teach people how to tinker their devices and how to use their devices in a weird way. Um, and these kind of videos receive a good response from my viewers, and I'm grateful for that. So I really want to bring that kind of perspective to my reviews. I know my opinions are not major, and I think that is mostly because I'm a female and I'm from a different background, different country. And I personally think that is a good thing because when you look at many reviews, they are reviewing at the same angles, same kind of things, and you just can't get another opinion from them. So I think it is time for me to bring some diversity to the market as well as to YouTube. I've been criticized by being very subjective in my Odin 2 video, And I do not believe in complete objective reviews because people have their own views and they are just trying to hide it behind words, and it doesn't mean that their videos are not driven by certain opinions. It can be very easy for me to just read out the specs, the data, and do some measurements in my review and make it very objective and factual. However, in the end of the day, how good a product it is not just about its spec or how powerful it is. It is about the user experience and usability. There are already many YouTubers being very technical and being able to provide you those kind of knowledge, and I don't see why I have to be one because I am not a professional in that aspect. So when I look at what I have and I don't, is that I am from a opposite gender and I have smaller hands. I'm from a different country, so I have different kind of perspective on certain things. And that's the direction I want to do my reviews. I understand I cannot entertain everyone, and there are many people who want to disagree with me because I'm from a different perspective, but I will try to keep it up and don't be discouraged by them. So I'm setting my target for this year to get 4,000 subscribers, and I don't know if I can achieve it, but I will try my best to do so. What I learned from last year is that I was super busy at work as an interpreter, and it is very difficult for me to tell whether when I have to work because all the tasks are scattered around the schedule and they can be urgent, they can appear suddenly, and they can disappear suddenly. And if I have to work for a whole day, then I'll probably get a sore throat and I cannot record videos even if I have time. So for this year, I will try to make more stock video for the time when I cannot make new videos or I have sore throat so that I can upload constantly. Furthermore, I'm trying to reach out other YouTube channels, especially for gamer girls, because I really want to form a community and form a bonding with other gamer girls to voice out for female gamers. Sometimes it is very difficult for girls to determine whether a gaming handheld is suitable for them or not because most of the reviewers are male and they have different hand size and they see the ergonomics in a different way. They use the product in a different way. We have different kind of game of interests, so the needs are different, and I really want to make more female gamers and consumers to have a easier time to decide whether or not to buy a certain product. Last but not least, it is just a dream for me, but in a possible future, if I had a chance, I really want to release a gaming handheld for girls that it is in cute colors. The ergonomics are designed specifically for girls, and we also have certain accessories that are very user friendly for girls. So that is just a dream and vague idea, but that is my ultimate goal for being a gaming handheld YouTuber. Honestly, I'm really not doing YouTube for a living because, buying handhelds is kind of a big investment and I've been spending money on it. It is kind of sad when people said that I am working for a certain company or I'm being dishonest because this is completely my hobby and I'm just expressing how I feel and how I think about certain products. So sometimes it kind of hurt me when people say those kind of things and saying I'm a poor AI and stuff like that. Criticism is different from personal attack, and I really want people to understand that I want a constructive discussion. I don't think people have to agree with everything I said, and I don't need to agree with everything they said too. But I think it is very important for us to not being toxic and to be peacefully discuss what we love because at the end of the day, this is just our hobby and we want to have a better handheld and to play all the games we want. So I don't understand why we have to attack each other. So yeah, let's hope that 2024 will be a peaceful year for gaming handhelds community. And thank you for watching until this point. I don't know how many of you are going to watch until the very end of this video because it has been super long. But thank you very much to be with me and to listen until the end. I will see you in my next video and I will do more follow-up on Odin 2. See you in my next video. Bye.